Welcome, Rattler fans, inside Bill Green Arena for this Heartland Conference kickoff for the St. Mary's Rattlers. It is our second game in conference. The St. Mary's Rattlers meet the University of Texas-Permian Basin Falcons. David Tovar, Holden host with you. A howdy from Texas to Bristol. Now, Holden, Rattlers have been hot this entire year. They've lost only one game. What do you expect to see out of your Rattlers tonight?
A big win. Just had a big win. Very aggressive on the defensive end. Very explosive on the offensive. As you see DT just make his first jump shot. You know, DT a returning guard. You have Moses who's returning with a lot of new faces here. You know, at point guard Christian Bauer, who's stepped up to help this team mature and grow. And that's a quick backcourt violation.
Quickly, the Rattlers force a turnover. Starting five on the floor for your Rattlers. It stays the same. Bauer, Sandufu, Taylor, Isaiah Matthews, and Kevin Kotzer. Five on the floor for the Falcons. Fabian Sebastian, Rob Heyer, Xavier Martin, Anthony Dees, and Madison Turner. 2-0 lead for the Rattlers early on. Here's Sandufu driving. Tough jumper. Almost gets that to go offensive board, and that's all day Kevin Kotzer, who Holden picked up his second Heartland Conference Player of the Week award this season. He's got to make more room on the mantle, I suppose.
As this is his last year, I mean, last year we would like, more recognition.
Yeah, you really gotta take advantage if you're the St. Mary's Rattlers and get the last inch from Kotzer as the Falcons able to put a point up on the board. That's Xavier Martin. Brings his Falcons within two. Here's Matthews down low. That one's poked away. Now the Falcons on the run. Good recovery there by the St. Mary's Rattlers. Here's Madison Turner working against Bauer. Almost 2 minutes gone down here in this first half. Another turnover forced by the Rattlers. Now the Rattlers on the run. Here's Sandufu. Drops it off. Left side. Darryl Taylor. Swings it back. Christian Bauer. Down low. Kotzer. Another easy basket there. Give 4 to Kotzer early on, and the Rattlers win it by 4. Rattlers holding, as you were telling me before the game started, back from a successful road trip in Las Vegas as that deuce is dropped by number 2. Successful road trip in Vegas. Holding, they swept both their opponents, including Drury, who was ranked number 19, I believe, at the time. Top 25 ranking. The Rattlers, of course, lost to Washburn, who was at the time ranked number 2. They lost to him by 4. So the Rattlers here, when the rankings come out in the next couple days, some are expecting them to be ranked.
Hopefully soon, at least in the region. They currently stand number 3 in the Heartland Conference, but we've only played one game in the conference so far, taking 1-0.
That one was against A&M International. This second one against Permian Basin. Offensive foul. And Kevin Kotzer showing his versatility there on the offensive end and here on the defensive end, able to draw a charge. That one goes against 25, Rob Heyer, in substitution time early for Permian Basin. 32, Jonathan Uribe. And 42, Colton Thompson checking in. Rattlers stick with their starting 5, and here they come. 6-4 lead early on. Bauer down low, working. The offense runs through Kotzer. Hook shot, no good. Rebound by Thompson, and here come the Falcons pushing.
It'll be very interesting to see, David. Last season, the Falcons held the Rattlers to their lowest scoring game of the season. I believe it was 38 points. One of the worst performances by our Rattlers. So it'll be very interesting to see the growth of this team and see how they will respond to this being a new season with new faces, as well as some familiar returning faces.
Traveling violation on the Falcons, and Holden, so the Rattlers, I think they have the same amount of firepower. You lose Autry, you get Bauer, and you have Taylor and Sandufu, but on the note of Sandufu there for three. That jumper no good. Sandufu's got to get it going. He's one of our primetime players. He was on the all-tournament team over in Vegas. He's definitely got to step his game up here in San Antonio at St. Mary's, and that will send us to our first media timeout of the game. 6-4 the score. The Rattlers, the Permian Basin Falcons, and what I guess Holden should be a good defensive one. Stay with us. You're watching all the action live on Rattlers Ustream. Welcome back, Rattler fans. 15:57 remaining in the first half. David Topmar, Holden host with you. And Holden, you were talking about how the Permian Basin defense really stifled St. Mary's last year. And the Rattlers hoping not to get caught in that early on. They have struggled 3 of 7 from the field early on. Concert with 4 points leading the way for both teams. Ball swung around now, looking down low. Justin Alexander checking in. And, well, Holden, it's a luxury to have an Alexander. He is 6'10", taller than Kotzer, sophomore, so we'll see a lot of Alexander after the season. Of course, Kotzer is senior, and only prosperous things coming as Darryl Taylor's jumper is good.
And DT is having, well, he's finding his hot hand early here.
And that's somebody the Rattlers definitely want to see get going offensively early on. Now Permian Basin with it. Stop, pop, jumper is good, and that is 21, Madison Turner. Gets his first bucket of the game.
As you see, Christian Bauer taking on number,
I believe that's 21.
21. Obviously, there's a height advantage there for number 21, but Christian Bauer not, using his speed and his athletic ability to get through. And he's been doing that much of the season with great ball. He very rarely turns the ball over, which is a good thing for a point guard position. And I was talking to one of his teammates, and he shared with me that Christian Bauer really doesn't care about scoring and putting up the big number of points, but he does like to win. He likes that competitive edge.
And that's really important for the Rattlers, as we did lose a Lamb Entre. We got back Christian Bauer, a guy who can just step in and run the show. And as you said, Holden, maybe not your scoring guard, but he has shown instances where he can score. He can put it on the floor and get to the basket, but he really is a creator, and he has been terrific at running this Rattler show in what's been about 10, 11 games as a Rattler. Here's Bauer all the way to the hoop. Almost if I had that diagram. I don't know. Bauer all the way to the rim, gets that to go, and gives his Rattlers a 4-point lead early on here against the Falcons.
Definitely starting to settle down, picking up 4 of 9. They're at 45% right now.
Yeah, Rattlers starting to find themselves. They've gotten 2 in a row from Taylor and now Bauer. Here comes Sandufu, launches the 3. That one is long, no good. A little bit of a heat check there, I would assume, for Sandufu. Here's a 3 going the other way. That one not even close. Reminiscent of some pickup games right there, that jumper. Substitutions being made, wily substitutions from Permian Basin. I kind of feel bad for our statisticians, John and Max. Got to keep up with those wholesale platoon subs. Rattlers have only made one. Matthews for Alexander. 5 on the floor. Joining Alexander is Kotzer, Bauer, Sandufu, and Taylor. For the 5 who began the game for the Rattlers. Now Bauer, as you said, now he's not struggling with that height advantage. As Turner shifts over to Darryl Taylor. Now Kotzer, top of the key. Dribbling, trying to find something going offensively. Forces up a bad one. And that rebound out to the Falcons.
The one thing that's been fun to watch this season actually is the two big men, Justin and Kevin, both on the court at the same time, guarding the paint, very limiting the transition for opposing teams to get into the paint.
Yeah, it's always good to see both of them 6'8" and above, and defensively, they must be nightmares for coaches to game plan against. And offensively, they're both unselfish bigs. They both pass the ball, make the extra pass, and it's been fun to watch, and it's really a luxury for guys like Taylor and Sandufu as this foul is down low. It'll go against Permian Basin. Really a luxury for guys like Taylor and Sandufu to have big men who can pass because they'll find themselves wide open. You can't leave a 6'8", a 6'10" guy by themselves. Kotzer out, and in comes Brad Hubnack for the Rattlers. So Kotzer and Alexander, and you'll see them playing together more often, I believe, as the season winds down, as we get into the nitty-gritty of the conference. And, well, remember last year, Holden, this team went all the way to the dance, and they're shooting for that goal again.
Definitely big differences from last year. I mean, looking at the game really early on, even though we have 12 minutes, but if you look at the turnover ratio, we only have one foul, which is really a huge improvement. Usually we have a first quick 2 or 3 fouls before the Rattlers settle down and avoid that foul trouble.
Yeah, that's something you really want to see if you're a Rattler fan. 5 turnovers already forced by St. Mary's. Permian Basin finds himself at the line. That first free throw is no good from Colton Thompson. And, well, Holden, as you mentioned, the Rattlers only with 1 turnover, and that's pretty darn good. Early on here, approaching the 8-minute mark, 12:32 remaining. We don't have the clock up, I think, on the live broadcast, as Thompson misses both. Those are 2 big free throws. You're going to need all of those against the Rattlers. Rebound out to Alexander. Now Bauer, left side Sandufu, driving, kicks it out. Taylor steps into a 3. That one off the glass. Offensive board, Alexander. Down low. Tough shot, no good. And this one is going to stay down here. It's against number 32, Jonathan Uribe. And now we'll see substitutions from both sides. Permian Basin with a sub. Fred Wilson in for Mo Sandufu. Sandufu struggling early. 0 for 3 early on. 0 for 2 from that three-point line. He is deadly. Taylor jumper is good. And somebody who hasn't struggled, Darryl Taylor, the first Heartland Conference Player of the Week this season, is off to a nice start. He's got 4. Hello, Thompson. Good defense.
Good
Alexander again, and he stays with him. A little too physical there, and we'll send Thompson back to the line. That's a good foul there, Holden. Remember, Thompson did miss both his free throws, and I stand corrected. 6 points for Darryl Taylor thus far. Rattlers lead by that number, 6. Stay with us. More upcoming. 11:53 remaining. Live on Rattlers Ustream. Welcome back, Rattler fans. 11:53 remaining in the first half. A 12-6 Rattler lead inside Bill Greehey Arena on this Thursday night, of a cold Thursday night. It definitely feels like winter. Happy New Year to you, Holden.
Happy New Year too.
Happy New Year to all our viewers, and hope the holidays went well. At the line, Colton Thompson. He gets that free throw to go. Missed his first two, got that third one. And now at the line with an extra one upcoming. Darrell Taylor with 6, Kevin Kotzer with 4. And the other 2 points coming from Christian Bowers' layup. That's how the Rattlers are at 12. Second free throw off the mark, no good. Brad Hubnack with the rebound. And now Christian Bauer controlling.
It's nice to see a very healthy Brad Hubnack too. He's starting, adding that extra defensive pressure, and he's got that nice jump shot. After suffering that injury.
Very physical play there from Thompson, almost straddling Joe Monroe there. But you're absolutely right about Hubnack, Holden. He really adds a dimension to this Rattler team. He's a big who can stretch the floor and who can hit a mid-range jumper. And he's also gritty and rugged. He can go and rebound and important to his team. And you're right, never quite been, I think, at 100%. He looks pretty good right now, and let's hope he stays in good strength and good health. Rattlers going to need him in that title run if they plan to pursue one. Turnover here. It'll be Permian Basin ball. Ball swung. Nice ball movement by the Falcons. Tough shot. No good. Bauer comes up with it. Almost loses possession. And now in control. 5-point lead for the Rattlers. Darrell Taylor. Oh, tough shot. Rebound by Hubnack. We talked about that grit. Nice offensive board. Able to hang on, and he gets fouled. And Hubnack will take a visit to the free throw line.
Very defensive game so far. Both teams shooting exactly 37.5% from the field.
Luckily for St. Mary's, they're 6 of 17. Permian Basin only 3 of 9. They've been limited to 9 shots, in large part to the 5 turnovers they already have. Rattlers with 2 turnovers. Rattlers out-rebounding the Falcons 10-8. No team has hit a three-pointer just yet. Permian Basin 1 for 4 from the free throw line so far. This is the first Rattler free throw, and it's good.
Who's this?
From Hubnack. 13-7 to score here. Here's Xavier Martin, left side. Driving is Rob Heyer. Back to Martin, all the way in. Tough shot, no good. Hubnack with the rebound, the outlet to Bauer. Bauer going to slow it down here, going to wait for all the teammates back. Fred Wilson, shot no good, and Fred Wilson holding a new addition to the Rattlers as well. He started the first couple games and now has come off the bench, kind of a energizer role, and he's been good. He's a good defender. I can't remember exactly what game it was, but I remember the opposing team, one of their players got very hot from the field. They stuck Wilson on him, and that was the end of him. I want to tell you it was DBU, to be quite honest with you. Here's Taylor. So Wilson very versatile as Taylor makes some tough shots, contorts, and gets that to go. Rattlers right back up by 6, and Joe Monroe also has checked in for Alexander Monroe, one of your fellow Stevens guys.
Yes, sir.
Fellow Stevens Falcon. Guy jumps out the gym.
Some very fanatic dunks, which we've seen like 3 of them this season. So,
yeah.
But thus far,
yeah, and hopefully many more to go on the highlight reel. Remember our former broadcast colleague, Raul Tovar, called Monroe the tied, or and at times the most athletic Rattler next to Isaiah Matthews. This 3 is launched, and apparently the bank is open at 8 o'clock at night here in San Antonio because that one was launched, and the prayer answered there, as that 3 is good from Tyler Reynolds, and he brings his Falcons within 6.
It wouldn't surprise me if we see DT try to answer with his own 3.
Not at all. Oh. Here's Hubnack. There's that jumper you talked about. It's off the mark, no good. And here come the Falcons looking to push. all the way, and Hubnak, nice hard foul there. Way to stop that layup. If you're gonna foul and you're gonna stop the layup, you gotta do it hard, and Hubnak eats up that foul there. That's the first on Hubnak. And the line will be number 2, Anthony Dees. Substitution. Rattler's going to bring back Kotzer, Sandufu, and now Mark Simmons. Mark Simmons at the backup point guard. Very serviceable, very versatile as well. Also a new face for St. Mary's this season.
To say the coaching staff did a really good job bringing in these transfers, and the chemistry between the team, the teamwork you see a lot more ball movement, you see a lot more communication, and you hear it.
Yeah, you definitely have a lot more guys, I think, this season that can put the ball in the basket. Fred Wilson and Alexander, Bauer, and even Simmons. Simmons has had a couple games where he's really gotten off and got into the double digits. He's a point guard, I think, by height, but he's definitely has some shooting guard traits. He's a good shooter and he can get to the hole. That one just a little too far out for Kevin Kotzer. Reminiscent of some of those one-handed grabs you see in the NFL. Yeah, I was watching a couple of highlights from last week. I think the Broncos had a couple of one-handed grabs. Of course, it's playoff time in the NFL. Holden, I know your Ravens made it.
Barely.
And my Cowboys didn't make it. That's definitely another discussion for hopefully never. We don't have to talk about that.
And there, speaking of those one-handed grabs, Kevin just had one on the defensive end of things. And quick, just like that.
Turnover there. I think they called a double dribble, like carrying on Mark Simmons. And so more substitutions again for Permian Basin. I think Permian Basin wants to keep the team fresh and keep guys in and out.
And we noticed that in the first game too, where they did the whole 5 line.
Yeah, they would have a line sub, absolutely. Here comes Permian Basin. Thompson posting. Oh, gets Kotzer up in the air. Nice move. And not often you can catch Kotzer off guard like that. Thompson did there. And that's good enough to put his Falcons right back. Tied with the Rattlers. 15-all here. Approaching the 7.5-minute mark in the first half. Here's Simmons. Almost gets that to go. Offensive board off the hands of the Falcons. And it'll be a Rattler basketball time out on the floor. Tie ball game here, 15-15. Stay with us, more upcoming. Rattlers basketball continues live on Ustream. Welcome back, Rattler fans. 7:25 remaining in the first half. David Tovar holding host with you inside Bill Career Arena on this Thursday night. Happy New Year to you and yours. Rattlers in a tight one here with the Permian Basin Falcons. Simmons, Sandufu, Wilson, Matthews, and Kotzer, the 5 on the floor for the Rattlers. Nice ball movement here. Matthews picks up his dribble. That's Sandufu, intended for Matthews. That pass is picked off, and now the Falcons with it. Looking to slow down the tempo and trying to get something going here. Thompson's going to hit the three. That one is long, no good. Rebound. Out to Kotzer. Finds a trailing Simmons. Simmons to Sandufu. Now back to Simmons. Top of the key. Left side Sandufu. Ball being passed around. Good defense being played here by the Falcons. 15 on the shot clock. For St. Mary's, here's Simmons. Oh, nice dump off, and that's a good pass there. Somewhat of an underrated trait of Simmons. He has nice court vision, and he found Kotzer right there. Easy layup for the big man. That's 6 for Kotzer. Thompson steps out of bounds before he got that layup to go, and turnover. That is the 6th of the game. Rattlers, who at one point trailed in the turnover department 5-1, they are now right there with them. 6 turnovers for the Falcons, 5 for St. Mary's.
Speaking of Simmons, yeah, like I agree. He's a big. He creates plays, and he definitely he'll stretch him out. You know, he has good ball handling, good court, and he'll give you the ball when he sees an opening and knows his man is open and gonna either drive or he's gonna take the shot for himself. So he's really good at that visioning.
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning. He can drive as well. He can put the ball in the basket too. Sandufu's 3 falls. That won't count though. As the foul is down low, it'll go against Permian Basin. That's on Rob Heyer. At the line is Fred Wilson. But yeah, I mean, Lamb Autry last year was more of a wing player, a shooting guard who played point guard out of necessity. But you got 2 guys here in Bauer and Simmons who are point guards by height, and they can handle, but they can also put the ball in the basket, which I think is pretty important, because in the Heartland Conference, there will be games where a Sandufu's off, where a Darrell Taylor, there's been games where he's been off. And so you'll need the scoring load to be carried by another guard. And Simmons and Bauer fit the bill perfectly. Even a Fred Wilson who can hit a corner 3 and an open 3-pointer here and there. That's also pretty important for the St. Mary's Rattler offense. Their defense seems to be pretty good. They're active. They're pretty active. They're always have their hands flailing. Here's Xavier Martin handling. Fred Wilson on him. Kotzer comes out to meet him. Another tough jumper. Good Rattler defense. Not able to come up with the rebound though. So an offensive board for the Falcons. This one flipped. No good. Kevin Kotzer with the board. Here comes Simmons. Drops it off. Sandufu. Back to Simmons. All the way to the basket. That one blocked from behind. Now blocked from the front. Simmons stays with it. Never gave up on that play. Rattlers 20 seconds on the shot clock here. They lead it by 4.
That second offensive rebound, you could thank Kotzer for being there, tipping it to Simmons.
That's
so
a heads-up
Simmons could
play.
chase him down.
Indeed. Here's Sandufu. 8 on the shot clock. That shot is good, and that's where Sandufu's at his strength. He's a terrific marksman from three-point land, but when he really drives and he stops and he sets and he pops and he hits, you can't stop it. Here's Martin. That shot swung over left side.
It's definitely a very healthy Rattler team this season. No major
injuries to speak of. You're absolutely right, and that's a luxury. Now hopefully the Rattlers can continue down the stretch, as we'll have a lot of visitors from the Heartland Conference, substitution for the Falcons. And as we mentioned, as school kicks up again on the 15th, welcome back, everyone. Saturday you got Oklahoma Panhandle State. That's another Heartland Conference game. Then you have a road trip over to Arkansas Fort Smith to meet the University of Arkansas Fort Smith. And then in Wichita, Kansas to meet Newman, who is ranked right now in the top 25 in the country. That one off the leg of Thompson. And then you'll see him right back here on the 17th and the 19th, St. Edwards and McMurray respectively. And a timeout taken. We'll take one with them. Rattlers up by 6. Stay with us. More upcoming. Rattlers basketball continues live on Ustream.
there.
Welcome back, Rattler fans. 4:08 remaining here. Rattlers with a 6-point lead. Simmons, Wilson, Sandufu, Matthews, and Kotzer 5 on the floor for the Rattlers here. A three is launched by Turner. That shot no good. Ball right into the hands of Simmons. Now Simmons in transition all the way. Gets that to go. Mark Simmons. As I mentioned earlier, holding Simmons, a point guard who can dribble, drive, penetrate, get in that lane. He has been terrific early on here. Nice passing and great decision there to take it all the way. It gives his Rattlers an 8-point lead. Down low is Thompson. Looking for Reynolds and a foul down low. That one will be on Wilson. And that'll send us to break. Stay with us. More upcoming. An 8-point lead for the Rattlers. All the action, you're watching it live on Ustream. Welcome back, Rattler fans. An 8-point lead for the St. Mary's Rattlers. 3:28 remaining in the first half.
What's contract? He's got this 1 year. Yeah, so.
Well, looks like to be the topic here in the booth. I don't know if you ever heard what do the Cowboys do to salvage the franchise, and that free throw was good from Tyler Reynolds. I don't think you let go of Romo. Now, full discretion, I am a diehard Romo fan. But I mean, what's a better option at this point? Mark Sanchez, Mike Vick?
You know, I feel for the Cowboys to salvage.
I think there were a lot of more problems. There were a lot more problems. Half the defense was gone. We had half of DeMarcus Ware against the Redskins. We had Des Bryant's finger. DeMarco Murray played half the year. I think if you can get a quality Cowboys team, quality like all day, Kevin Kotzer right there gets another bucket, 8 for him. If you get a healthy roster, if you get a healthier line, if you get some secondary, I think the Cowboys will be in a good spot. Now, granted, Romo may not ever win the big game, but I think you have to put a team that's better than 8-8 out there, and you don't start with Romo. I think you throw in the baby out with the bathwater, something that I'm sure Chad Peters will not do.
I think you get rid of Jerry Jones.
No, I mean, now the owner can fire himself.
I believe that Jerry Jones should.
No, I mean, as a huge Cowboys fan, I would like to see Jerry step down from the GM spot and into an owner role. And by that, I mean cut the checks and get a real football mind in there. But, I mean, the team is talented, and I don't think you start with Romo. But, of course, that's a conversation for another day. As the Rattlers here have been terrific early on. They are shooting right near 40%. They haven't hit a three-pointer yet, which is pretty surprising. A team that is pretty talented from beyond that three-point line with a Sandufu, a Taylor, a Fred Wilson. They're 0 for 3. They're rebounding well. They are out-rebounding the Falcons 20-12 as that second free throw is good. And now the Falcons within 6. Here is Simmons. Left side over to Sandufu. Now Kotzer. Swings it over right side. Darrell Taylor down low. Matthews. That shot is put up. Rejected. Matthews stays with it. 16 seconds on the shot clock. Matthews trying to work with it. Swung over to Simmons. And Simmons loses control of that one. Arguing he was forced out. And it'll be Falcon basketball checking right back into the game. Rob Heyer. And for Keith Martin. It hasn't exactly been an offensive spectacle this game, but Rattlers are up by 6. And as you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Holden, this team really held the Rattlers to a low-scoring affair last season. As we are in the 2-minute warning here. Good shot there by Dyer. And the Falcons within 4.
Moses,
Ooh, nice move there. Offensive board. Kotzer, again, another offensive board. Oh, almost had another one. I think he had 2 offensive boards on that trip. Sandufu trying to get to it, and it looks to be a jump ball. Possession will stay with the Falcons. Brad Hubnak checking in. Isaiah Matthews will take a seat on the bench.
Isaiah, when we spoke of being a dynamic player early on, has had a very quiet half. So maybe hopefully we'll see Isaiah come out a little stronger in the second half.
It was a smart foul by Sandufu, stopping that easy shot there, but that will send the Falcons to the free throw line. They are 6 of 10 shooting, and this will be free throw 11 and 12. 19 fouls for the Rattlers. First free throw, no good. That's really plagued the Falcons. They haven't shot the free throw well. Matt Rogers again. His second free throw way off the mark. Offensive board here. This one in traffic. Good for Keith Martin. And now once again, the Falcons within 2. Approaching the 1-minute mark here in the first half. Darryl Taylor right side. Rubenek top of the key. A big trap now. Kotzer. A little bit outside of the block. Dropped off to Simmons. Gonna take it. Floater. Way off the mark. Hubnak trying to fight for it and does. Staying with it. Here's Taylor. Fakes. Draws the foul. That one's on Madison Turner. Darryl Taylor at the line.
Sharing 8 points with Kevin Kotzer, so
in the lead, and here he has a chance to overtake the scoring lead. First free throw for Taylor. No good off the 1-and-1.
So that is a rare miss by DT. DT shooting about at least 80% from the free throw line.
Pretty reliable free throw shooter indeed, and that one way off the mark. Here comes Permian Basin. About 25 seconds remaining. They have 15 in their shot clock. And they're going to try to hold for a shot late in the clock. That one dropped off. And I think Matt Rogers so surprised he was open. That one hit him a little hard. All tied at 25. Here as we're going into break, Simmons draws the foul. So 3 free throws upcoming for Mark Simmons. That's a very heads-up play there. And so a potential 3-point play to finish out the first half for the Rattlers. 1.1 remaining in this first half. And Holden, we might have ourselves a barn burner in the second half.
That I have to agree with. I mean, it being very closely contested.
You mentioned also that Permian Basin's defense really did a number on the Rattlers last season, and they may be doing it again. They've held them to 31% shooting. That's fairly poor for the Rattlers. And here's free throw number 2. That one is good. Mark Simmons giving the Rattlers a 2-point lead. Let's see if he can make it 3 here. Remember, Rattler fans, to stay with us. Second half upcoming between the Rattlers and Falcons. Mark Simmons give them all of those 3 as the Rattlers will head into the half, barring this half-court heave, with a 3-point lead. St. Mary's leads the University of Texas of the Permian Basin by 3, 28-25. Stay with us. You're watching all the action live on Ustream. Hunter. Welcome back, Rattler fans. The second half underway inside Bill Green Arena, the St. Mary's Rattlers and the University of Texas on the Permian Basin. And what a more appropriate way to start off the half. Kevin Kotzer gets an easy one to go for him. 10 points for him in the game. Alongside him, Darrell Taylor with 8, leading the way for St. Mary's. It's been a tough, gritty game. And you know about grit. Your Ravens, a gritty team. Ray Lewis announcing his retirement.
I know, it's kind of sad.
I would assume, as a longtime Raven fan, you are. Rattlers here, by the scope of things, looking like they'll have to grind this game out here. As that one is tossed and that one's tipped away, it'll stay with the St. Mary's Rattlers.
You have Moses there looking a little frustrated. Like he was open, he wanted to shoot that three.
Well, you got the hot hand, you want to shoot. And here's Sandufu. He's going to get his chance here off the mark. Sandufu struggling as of late. Rattlers still with a 3-point lead. Here's Madison Turner. Xavier Martin.
You know, and this game is important for the Falcons because I believe this is actually their season opener in the Heartland Conference. So a win here tonight would be key for them.
Put them all the way into the top. 1-0 record in Heartland Conference play. Why not the Rattlers? I think you told me, Sherry, a tie at the top, or they're number 3.
They're number 3.
They have a 1-0 record. That win coming against A&M International. And again, that wasn't even close. Free throw is good from Higher. Matthews out and Monroe in quickly. Quick substitution here. Second free throw is good. 1-point lead for the St. Mary's Rattlers here as we get things going underway in half number 2. Darrell Taylor, Joe Monroe now checking in. Down low Kotzer, and that one will into wide open space. Ball goes out of bounds, and it'll be possession for the Falcons.
Got a question what DT was seeing. Was he expecting Joe Monroe to be down there and open, or?
I think maybe he's expecting Kotzer to shift right and make the catch there with one-arm grabs. Kotzer deceptively long for his size. Bauer loses control. And here come the Falcons all the way. Monroe almost trying to pin that one to the backboard. Makes contact with Turner, and now Turner will find himself at the line once again. A lot of free throws shot by UTPB. 12 in the first half. They had a couple here to begin the second half, and this will be attempts 3 and 4. So 2 of them coming from Turner. First free throw is good. All free throws good for Turner, and just like that, the Falcons have a 1-point lead. Holden, what do you expect to see out of your Rattlers here in the second half to break through?
You need to see less turnovers, less fouls, because as you know, when you give the Falcons the chance to be aggressive off those turnovers, those fast breaks, they're very successful. We see Isaiah left with two quick fouls. So you need to cut that amount.
I think you're right. You got to play D, and you got to be aggressive, but you got to be careful. You don't want to put the Falcons on the line, and though they haven't shot exactly a shining percentage, they have got it to the line. Taylor fouled there, trying to pass it to Monroe, and the ball will stay with the Rattlers under their basket. I think you're right, Holden. I think they have to prevent the Falcons.
Both of these teams playing very scrappy. If you remember correctly, 2 years ago, the Falcons here beat us by 1 in the Heartland Conference when we were the number 2 seed, I believe.
In the tournament.
Destroying the hopes for some of our seniors Gordon Ward, and I believe he was the only one of that season.
Yeah, I believe so.
And then to have them come back that next season and win and hold us to 38 points, and I think it was like 60 to 38, you know.
Here's Wilson for three. Gets that to go. Fred Wilson. He's got 5 on the night. And he gives the lead right back to the Rattlers. They lead it by 2.
And that was the first 3-point of the night by the Rattlers.
And not from the usual suspects you would expect us to do for Taylor. It's Fred Wilson. He has that range. Offensive foul. Kevin Contra, that's the second charge he draws. And the Rattler faithful will definitely take that. And you're going to need those plays in a gritty game, in a tough game here. Substitutions upcoming. Wholesale substitutions here. 3 Falcons coming in. Here's Bauer and now Taylor. Looking at some scores from the pros. The Spurs getting beaten like a drum. 100 to 83 against the Knicks. So on the week they are 1-2 against the New York teams. They beat Brooklyn huge on Monday night, and then they lose to New York tonight.
That's quite okay. My Mavericks not having a great season there.
Oh, yeah, your Mavericks got drummed up twice by San Antonio. They've lost twice to my Miami Heat.
In overtime, though, granted.
Yeah, but remember the first one?
I try not to remember.
Here's Bauer all the way in. Gets that to go. Christian Bauer, he has 4 points and 2 pretty moves to the basket. Nice drives there.
You have the Rattlers shooting.
Three is good. And so just like that, the Falcons within 1. Well, as my Cowboys got knocked out of the playoffs, it's time for me to transition to NBA mode. Here's Wilson. That jumper no good. You can count it as an
injury timeout.
You can count, I think, your Mavericks out of the running. So that only gives time for my Heat to repeat. We'll talk more about that on the other side of the break. Time out on the floor for media. Stay with us. More upcoming. Rattler basketball continues live on Ustream.
Pro.
Welcome back, Rattler fans. 37-36. Rattlers up by 1, 14:50 remaining in the second half. You are looking live inside Bill Greehey Arena. David Tovar holding host with you. It's been a defensive struggle, and we were talking about that. Both teams shooting poorly. Permian Basin at 41%, St. Mary's at 33, a very lowly 33. Here is Darrell Taylor all the way in. Count it. Offensive foul, so the basket won't count. And Taylor rung up for his first. 8 points for Darrell Taylor on the afternoon. 12 for Kotzer, 5 for Simmons, 5 for Wilson. A nice balanced effort so far for the St. Mary's Rattlers, and they're going to need it here as that defensive pressure you mentioned, Holden, the Permian Basin plays, has been in effect tonight. Here's Thompson all the way. Kotzer rejecting that, saying, oh no, and all day.
Although good hustle by 42.
Yeah, that's the ivory tower right there. Terrific play there by Kotzer. You know, I tend to like the all-day nickname, but it's Adrian Peterson's. I just, you know, I equate Adrian Peterson with it. You know, I definitely think we should brainstorm a new one for Kevin Kotzer. Here's Bauer. Runner, that's good. Tony Parker-esque. Bauer gets that to go.
I say all day is Calvin Johnson, but...
No, it's Megatron. Here he's got that. And that one swatted away from Permian Basin. It's off the leg of the Falcons, and it'll be a Rattler ball here. 3-point lead for the Rattlers, and any lead at this point is a good one. Permian Basin has led by as many as only one. And here's Bauer going to line it up for three. No good. Kotzer offensive board. And this one is going the other way and over the back. Called on Kevin Kotzer. That's an unfortunate break there, as Kotzer would have had another rebound. Rattlers have been completely obliterating the Falcons on the rebounding edge, 33-20 so far, and it really has to do with that height.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and we broke the 38. We're at 39, so they're not going to hold us to the lowest game of the season. Well,
happy anniversary. A dubious anniversary indeed. That shot is good from higher. 13:05 remaining. Here's Wilson trying to back down. Monroe, and another offensive foul. That's about 3 in this half we've seen already in a span of maybe 3-4 minutes. So substitution, Hubnak in for Monroe, and well, the refs are going to really call this one tight, it seems.
I was going to say, some of them may be a bit questionable, but nonetheless, an offensive foul is an offensive foul.
And it goes in the books as a turnover. 9 for St. Mary's thus far, 8 for the Falcons. So the Rattlers have passed up the Rattlers, and just like that, the Falcons turn it over, an offensive foul of their own. 10-9 is the scoreboard in the turnover category. And then the Rattlers leading that department. I'm sure they don't want to. Remember, Rattler fans, our next broadcast is Saturday afternoon, a Saturday afternoon doubleheader. Women's and men's. The women start at 2, the men follow at 4. And both will be hosting the visiting Oklahoma Panhandle State University squads. Right here live on Rattlers Ustream inside Bill Greehey Arena. Check it out, make it out if you can. Bauer to inbound. Here's Wilson driving. Oh, nice dish. Lays it up to Kotzer. And a foul before the basket. It'll be on Xavier Martin, number 0. That's his second, and that'll put Wilson at the line. Well, Holden, you've seen the Rattlers. They've struggled from the field what's going to be that shot on the arm that gets the Rattlers rolling again?
I believe maybe they should try and go back to the paint. They're not going to the paint as often as they were in the early half. I mean, they're trying to shut Kevin down, maybe put down the other big man, Justin, so we have the presence of the two big men. Maybe a little bit more ball movement as well. You're not seeing much ball movement.
Good defense. Oh, count it, and the foul. An emphatic dunk. That's number 4, Keith Martin. At the line, Anthony Dees. First free throw is no good. I don't think that basket counted, that putback dunk. I don't think the putback dunk counted.
No.
First free throw is off. Second one, no good. Rattlers catch a break. They got to get this rebound, and they're not able to. They're going to call a foul, and it looked like Dees moonwalked right there. And Dees will find himself right back in the line with a chance of redemption. He missed both free throws. We'll have a substitution here.
I don't know about that foul. We'll see. The ball doesn't lie.
Yeah, the ball indeed doesn't lie, so we'll see. Or maybe Dees is going to find the touch. It's a 1-and-1. It's good.
Someone's splashing over there.
Second one is good, and just like that, we find ourselves with a tied ball game approaching 12 minutes here in the second half. It's been a very grind-out game for both squads. Alexander drops it off to Bauer, screened by Hubnek. Rattlers trying to get something going offensively. Bauer again with the runner, no good. Here's Turner. Gets around Alexander. Now drops it off to Dees. And a blocking foul. That's against Alexander.
Looks like Fred Wilson trying to coach him up on how to take the charge. And
they're going to need that later on as this game comes down to the wire. A 40-40 tie here as we go into our next media timeout. Stay with us. More upcoming. Rattlers basketball live on Eagle Street. resolutions you care to share?
Procrastination, sir. I think that's the biggest one of
To get rid of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, to add it. No, you know what? I believe I didn't make any resolutions this year, to be honest, just because I feel like if a person's going to change, they don't need to verbalize it. They're just going to do it because they want to.
I like that.
So, my goal is just to change and grow as a person and, future endeavors.
Yeah.
How about you?
Definitely catch more Rattler basketball as that three is no good. But after that cheap plug, New Year's resolution, I agree with you. I don't think you need the new calendar year to set a new goal. I think you can do it at any time. And I think it has to be a feasible one as Bauer gets all the way in. And he's had a nice second half. 6 of his 8 points coming here in the second frame. I really guess I'd agree with you. Just kind of, become better as an individual and mellow out and just, go along for the ride. It's going to be a long ride, hopefully, Lord willing. So, now any resolutions as a Rattler?
As a Rattler, coming up on my last year, I just have to stay strong and, not mess around, maybe balance, some of the
Work and play.
Exactly. Mom, if you're watching this, I love you.
I think it's perfect time. I think it's perfect time to I think it's definitely perfect time to shout out our family. Happy holidays to you and yours.
But speaking of, the Rattler resolutions and whatnot, I really think that the Rattlers have not the hopes, the aspiration to continue what they picked up last season and maybe move even further than that. Both teams off to a really hot start, women's and men's. Women's are 8-3, men 9-1. 8-1.
Looking forward to it already. And boy, oh boy, I do think so. And we've been talking about this from the beginning of the year, Holden. For these Rattlers is offensive foul. Wilson hit violently there. 10:01 remaining. I think from the beginning of the year, Holden, the goal for these St. Mary's Rattlers was just not to contend and wasn't just to get to the Heartland Conference tournament. It was to win and get back to the dance and actually redeem themselves and do some damage. And I think as presently constructed and especially with Kotzer's last year, you definitely have to take advantage and you really have to get all you can out of the team. And Kotzer right there, with a talent like that, a guy who can just leap and put the ball back in the hole, you definitely got to make a huge effort, a huge team effort to get back into the dance and get back to the NCAAs. This jumper is good. The 3-ball is dropped from Jonathan Uribe, and just like that, it looks like both these teams are trading the lead. Isaiah Matthews drops it off to Wilson, looking down low. Back over to Bauer, left side. Now Wilson all the way across court. Sandufu's going to line up a 3. That's good. And Mo Sandufu, he wanted that one. As Coach Z letting his players know they've got to step it up. And we'll take a timeout with them. Stay with us. More upcoming. Rattlers leading by 2. Live on EOStream.
Why is it doing that? No, I couldn't really see it.